You're on.
Good morning. We're calling to order for Friday, January 15th, the Selectmen's work session at the town office. Call to order. Gentlemen, there's a small agenda here with signature file and all that. Do we want to go forward with that, or is there any particular order you want to go in?
Well, the chief's here. What's he here about? The warrant article?
Yes.
Yeah, just
You want to do
give
him
you a little
first,
information
out
about
of
it.
courtesy? Let him
The
back.
signature file's pretty small.
Yeah. The only thing for the signature file is Jack Whitmer's appointment as treasurer.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you for letting us get that out of the way. Sorry, checks can be signed.
Whatever you need to do.
Why don't we bump right to you, Chief, because you have a busy schedule. Happy Friday.
I had turned in 3 items as far as that we were looking at for warrant articles for the year. One was air packs. One is related to the air packs as far as bottles if we don't get the warrant article for the new air packs. And the other is the portable radios. I did find, as of yesterday, they will hold the prices
Down to you.
for the air pack quotes until September 1st.
The other
It
one.
was looking like that if it was gonna end, just after March, but they said that they would indeed hold the prices until September 1st, so.
And they put that in writing for you?
Yes, I have that.
Thank you.
I have those.
What were the prices going to go up, just out of curiosity?
They didn't advise,
So,
but it sounded like that the company was, one way or another, the company was going to try to hold, it was the Scott side of things that was gonna go up, the company was gonna try to hold the line for that, one way or another.
That's good news.
And the same as far as radio wise, Ospey Mountain Electronics said that they would stand behind the price that they had given us if for some reason town meeting isn't, whatever.
May 15th.
Well, we know it's not gonna be before May 15th at this
Right.
point, so, yeah. So I do have a couple of questions.
Yes.
If I understand this correctly, we replaced the SCBA's and we're raising like $29,000 in new money.
Correct.
If we don't do that and we buy replacement parts for the existing
Yep.
units, we're spending $49,000 in new money.
Correct. So all of the bottles that are in those current packs, as of the time period as far as this coming year, they'll all be null and void because they have reached their life expectancy. They have a 15-year life expectancy. After 15 years, they can't be re-hydro tested.
Mm-hmm.
We had sent them out I think it's every 5 years to be hydro tested up until they reach their end of life. And their end of life is here.
Kind of like the propane cylinder world,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, and those particular bottles, if we do purchase them for the packs that we have, won't be able to be used in new packs when we get them because there's a different pressure. These current packs that we have are 4,500 PSI. The ones that we're going to are 5,500 PSI.
So it's like the software world, it's not backward
Yeah.
compatible, right?
Right. That is correct. So it basically would be a waste of $48,000 when you get the new packs.
I have a summary of potential warrant articles here. And for the fire truck, it's, that's the lease purchase, and it's 124 $625. Is that both the principal and the interest?
Yes.
believe
That's,
so,
that's
yeah.
a total amount, yeah.
Just double checking.
Yeah.
Don't want you shortchanged.
Okay.
And then the last one, as far as the radios, so we're working on the grant. But we've hit a roadblock as far as Chief Shigori is attached to this DUNS number that we used to have because of his building
Yeah,
grant thing, and has tied up the federal stuff. We're still trying, we're trying to get that in, and the person that was hired is working or trying to get all of them and work through that so that they can submit the grant. But right now, we're at a standstill of getting the grant submitted because of, he's attached to all of that information that we need to get submitted.
What can the
so he has to be involved in the process because he's attached to the.
Yeah, he's now the administrator of our DUNS number and all the different stuff.
Kathy, would you call Chief Shigori and ask him to come down? Pardon me, I don't want.
Yes, please do. This is important.
Well, I mean, if it's, whatever, if, you know, if it's, he's gotta click a button or something, and whatever it takes,
Right. But
I'm
suppose,
guessing it doesn't take a lot of effort on his part. It's
well,
just-
supposedly he was setting up whatever so that we could, you know, go in and get our own ID numbers and stuff like that as far as it goes. And he would allow us to be like a user of that. But currently, that's, he has specific passwords and things like that that's set up that that he's not going to release because one, apparently he would be going back on whatever he signed as far as releasing that information that's specific to him as far as that goes.
So maybe we need
I
to
know
change,
that
maybe we
Caleb-
need to change whoever administers the DUNS and make you a user and make him a user, but somebody else is the administrator.
Well, I don't know if it's that easy
Yeah,
because it was, you know, everything was changed. I don't know if it's that easy to do.
I had a DUNS number when we did the pellet boiler,
yeah.
so I don't know if that one can be used or not.
Right.
That
So
was quite a while ago.
can you look that up and
Yeah.
see if that, typically what happens is
They
an
go away.
entity gets one number. So the town would have a number, like a
Correct.
company would have a number.
Correct.
Yeah,
Jamie's gonna try to get hold of him. He's due in any minute, but he's gonna try to call him ahead of time.
So as far as, I think that he's doing whatever he can to get it situated. The last email that I saw, our person was still trying to, you know, hook up with him to get him to call back.
how much of a grant do you think,
We were looking for the 120,000
oh, for a full?
for the radios. But it probably would be, it probably would end up being a match type thing. We would have to come up with we have to come up with the whole thing anyways, you know, to show it, and then we would be reimbursed. I think it's 75%.
All right.
With that.
So it's a, yeah,
Well, anything that's reimbursed us, we're ahead of the game.
Mm-hmm.
right.
What was it last time when you bought the radios? That was another,
The state provided them, so there was no cost to the town for the rate. As far as the mobiles?
oh, that's right, there were two different phases,
There
weren't
was
there?
two different phases, and we were able to put one phase off.
Yeah.
But the portables that we received last time were all provided by the state in 2007.
Well, they certainly have been useful.
Yes.
You're only as good as your communications.
Yes.
Speaking of communications, it seems that the tower changes have worked.
Yeah. Overall, they've worked pretty good for us. The not working so well for other towns
Yeah.
in some places, but that was expected in some ways as far as it goes. That's why we've kept part of the system separate.
And I
right
know
now.
your work with the mutual aid district, you probably found areas of the county you didn't know existed
Yes.
before.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Obviously, this is not the specific wording, but this was just to get it before you so that you knew what we were looking at.
I didn't give you copies of his,
Yeah, well, that's,
if you need it, you can see it right here. I just gave you the numbers
yep.
that he quoted.
So we got,
So this spreadsheet here is, it is,
missing the ambulance.
huh?
It's
The
missing.
ambulance is done.
It's done.
That's all.
That was gone when the
Last
rescue
year.
truck was paid off. Both of them were together.
Right.
So, yep, I sat with Kathy the other day and kind of scratched some stuff out, and that's what's on here, is some numbers that I stuck in.
Yeah,
Okay.
And I took things out that didn't look like it
Yep,
existing. I did bring last year's with me in case you guys wanted to review them in
Yep.
comparison.
Yeah.
yep.
It's last year's, you got one. You want one too?
No, I don't, give it back to you.
I know, I kept yours.
Yeah.
This is
yeah.
a different.
So we,
This is-
I'm gonna make a motion so we can keep moving along.
Good.
That we accept item 1 as a warrant article to purchase the capital, the air packs for $219,470, with $28,530 being raised by taxes this year.
So it's 248,000.
I'm sorry, I've got 219.
219 is coming out of the capital
Okay,
reserve.
I'm sorry,
Right.
Yeah.
248.
Yep,
I didn't add it together.
so,
For purposes of discussion, I'll second that.
Did you want to talk about it?
Nope, I'm a firefighter.
well, I thought we've already discussed it.
Yeah,
right?
rather
Yeah,
than
yeah.
talk to Doug.
So I would just suggest at this point, what we did last year as we were putting the warrant together is we, instead of numbering the articles initially, we put letters on them, remember? And then when we got them in order, we could put numbers on them.
Yep, that's fine.
So
I'll do
if
that.
we want to call that
This will be-
Article A,
This will be number A.
Article A, yeah.
Okay.
I'm ready to vote.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Okay.
All right, it makes no sense to me that we would put the replacement bottles in there. I understand why, I appreciate why you brought them up as an
And that's a
alternative.
good, I mean, it's good information to have when we go to the budget committee.
Yeah,
I mean, we did make a decision proactive
Right.
at that 48,000.
Yep. Yeah, just so that you are aware of it.
So how do we want to handle the radios? Is that absolutely necessary or?
The radios?
Yeah,
The radios, if we don't get them,
yeah,
will be the situation that they did stop making the parts for the radios and all of that wonderful stuff, and they have been breaking. But it's one of those things that it should be a warrant article. It's one of
okay,
those
so if we
things.
put it down as a $120,000 warrant article, now the grant is at risk because we have some confusion about that. Is that-
There shouldn't, we have to allocate the money one way or another.
I appreciate that, but if.
but what we're trying to do is get to net capital spending.
Right.
Okay,
Okay.
which is, in other words, we know that we're gonna add new money for SCBA is 29,000, okay? So that comes out of
Yeah.
taxation in 2021.
Correct.
The other money we already have set aside, so we didn't have a big bump.
Right.
If we get the grant, then the new money
Would
involved
be
is
25%,
30,000, right?
Right.
And if we don't get the grant, it's 120,000.
Correct.
You know, the article is for 120,000 because we have to authorize the total amount and identify,
The spending.
yeah. So, but it can and probably should be written such that, to reflect that only $30,000 will come from current taxation. The downside to that is if we write the article and pass the article that way and we don't get the grant,
Right.
then we can't buy the
Can't buy
radios.
the radios.
So,
Right.
I would-
I think we're better off adding the grant amount into our revenue side. And, I mean, if we can make our revenues go up, it offsets the
right.
Exactly what I was thinking.
warrant article.
Well, I just haven't, here was where my thought process was going, is we identify it all in the article. You think you'll know by town meeting if we don't get the grant, right?
We should, yes.
Okay? So if we write it to include the grant and we don't have the grant, then we alter the article on the floor of the meeting to fund the full amount. Or alternatively, we say if we don't get the grant, we don't buy the radios, but then we're,
Yeah, I
Then
don't
we
see
got-
that as a player, but you don't think an explanation at the business meeting would be enough to say, when we're discussing this warrant article, it's $120,000, but.
If we get a grant,
No, 60,000, we'll know by then.
yeah.
60,000 of it's coming in as a grant. Or no?
I just think it's, I like for us to identify all of the pieces in the article so that nobody's confused, so.
Okay, well, I'm fine with that then.
Yep.
I mean, it's not a, I'm not
So
gonna
you
fall on
want
my
it-
Right,
sword over
right.
this.
I mean, if you guys want to do it the other way, that's fine.
No, I
It's just,
just think it's. I
so
wanna
one
get-
of the things that happens if it's in the warrant that gets passed is 30 years from now, somebody looks back at the town report and they see, okay, they bought radios, but, oh, you know, 3/4 of the money came from someplace else. Like when we bought the radar trailer, all the money came from someplace else. At least it gives you a sense for all that went into the,
Yeah, I guess we just have to work on the wording so DRA is happy with it.
Yep.
That's all.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I have no problem
So,
us okaying the warrant article.
yeah.
The wording can be crafted in the next few weeks.
Yeah, so I will move Article B for purchase of new portable, is that right? Radios for fire and rescue in the amount of $120,000.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
So the radios are good.
Is the next one the fire truck?
That doesn't need any,
It's automatic.
I'm sorry, it does
I don't know if
need,
that's the one you've
uh,
tried.
yeah,
There's a couple of them.
There's a couple.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the,
So 48,000 is coming off of this, right?
yes. So I'm gonna suggest we put another column in this spreadsheet
Okay,
that will show current
Funds.
spending, okay?
okay,
In other words, the 248 for SCBA, we know that we're looking for, in terms of current spending, 28,530,
Yeah.
right? So that way we can,
so instead of notes, you'd like an added column, well, we'll keep notes there, but you want an added column that says, current funds or capital reserve or,
call it current spending, current.
What's your goal, Bill?
So, well, what we're trying to do is track the money, the
available funds.
the money that, the new tax money that we're gonna
Right, okay.
allocate. So that's what I'm saying. Right now, you look at this whole column and you got $3 million
Yeah.
in warrant articles.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
coming up with $1.6 million.
Yeah.
Okay, that's because
Where we're gonna be.
all of the capital reserve
Right,
and grants and other money that we expect to come in.
yeah.
So when we approve the spending, it's gonna be the $3 million. But what
So-
drops through to new tax commitment for this year will be $1 million-ish.
So you wanna add a capital reserve line?
Well, he doesn't
No,
want to
no,
call
I-
it capital reserve because,
I'm just suggesting that we put in a column that we call new commitment or current taxes or whatever. In other words, what's gonna go directly to the tax bill this year?
Right.
okay,
New
so,
taxes.
So any grants, of course, are gonna
Right.
get applied. Any money that we pull out of capital reserve or expendable funds, any money other than current year
Yep.
new spending.
so do you want me to, so you're gonna put capital reserve, grants and all that in that column, not what's left?
No, we want what's left.
We want new spending in a separate column,
That's what
so
you
we
want.
can track.
Okay, new
For instance,
spending.
Yeah, last year, we spent 977,000, or we authorized $977,500 in,
977, 193 is what I have.
well, right, and that's because I rounded.
Oh,
When I was working with it, yeah, I mean, I'm just working on the back of
yeah.
a floppy pad here, but yes,
Right.
and, you know, the whole thing we're looking at is, we know that our operating budget request is up by about 77,000 from last year. So, you know, less than 2%, not bad. And we want to, I think we want to aim for a bogey somewhere near on the capital spending side, so that when you, new money capital spending, so when you add it all together, the bottom line that flows through to taxes is not hugely different than what we did in 2020.
So I think we need a third line.
Yep,
Right,
So a line that delineates the money that's in capital reserve and the money that
grants.
grant or other.
yep.
So I'll
Okay.
call it, oh, so you don't,
So we're gonna put
So it looks like
additional
this,
columns.
okay?
right,
So you got the amount,
yeah,
the cap reserve or
Grant.
grant,
and then you want new
And
spending,
this
so
is
you want
net.
2 more columns.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yep.
and net. So
Yep.
this is taxes.
Yeah, makes some sense. Basically what the little notes are to the right, put them in columns.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, because there's a couple of these that are gonna go away.
Yep,
Right.
But we'll get to them.
yep,
You touched on something that's dear to my heart, and that is the bottom line. In your in your yellow folder, I went to the school district's meeting, and that budget is up substantially.
yeah, well, that's because it was down last year because they didn't spend all the money. So, now,
I'm not.
if,
No,
here's
no,
the.
It's up 2 million over what they budgeted last year.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I know, but do we want to reduce our spending in the town and squeeze it down because of the impact of it? Because if we do, we're throwing everything out, basically.
Yes, we are. I agree with what you're saying, I'm just, so
We
you
have-
guys are
we have-
aware of
We
it.
have no control over what they, all we do is
I mean,
collect
if we can keep our
taxes.
growth in our tax rate at somewhere in the 2 or 3%, we've done our job.
Yes.
Whether the school district has done their job is, we can't control, or the county for that matter.
Right.
Correct. I understand that, I was just making those figures available to you.
Yeah. And when I say the tax rate stayed the same or went down, I'm just talking the town tax rate.
Right, right,
That's the only thing I'm talking
Right.
about.
Yep.
right.
I'm in line with what you said.
And unfortunately, with the school district, because they didn't hold on to any of this money that they weren't using last year, they sent it all back to the towns, because they have several towns that are always scrambling to get the money back. It comes back as a boomerang this year. Not only do you have the additional spending for this year, but then you have, in addition to what you saved last year. So
It's a yo-yo.
it's a double effect. And a lot of people don't understand that while we all like to pay less taxes, you can't keep paying less taxes if you're going to keep the level of services and facilities and that sort of thing.
Well, you
Go.
have to at least
So you,
work on inflation.
well, yeah, right.
Good morning.
Payroll.
Hi, chief.
Hey,
So a question came up about
Right.
a federal grant that Chief Thompson's working on for radios and access to Dunn's number that you have exclusive access to.
really? You know how much I've been working on that, trying to get that straightened around? It's not even my grant.
Yeah.
Right, no, I understand that 100%, but you have the control of that, and our person said that she's trying to get a hold of you, and
Last night,
so,
about 7 o'clock, I got an email from her.
okay.
So,
I know that Caleb and her have been working back and forth, and I know that you've been working on that, and I know that there's some sticking point in between as far as something's not working there. So my question is, how do we get around it?
I don't know. First off, I mean, Caleb's been bugging me about it, but I haven't heard from her. She was supposed to, Caleb said she'll reach out to me. Well, I had to take some days for medical stuff. She didn't reach out to me though. I had no contact until last night. I got an email, like around, it might have been about 6 o'clock last night, which I responded back to right away because I was still here. So I don't get contacted for a week. It's not,
Right.
I'm not delaying the
But,
thing.
I saw emails, going back and forth that she had tried to call you, blah, 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 and I printed the emails out.
Well, I don't know when
But
she,
I don't know, I just want to get moving because we're gonna reach a deadline
What
and
is
we
the
can't get in.
operative problem?
The operative problem is that
You can't apply for a grant.
we can't apply to the grant because we can't get into the system.
Okay, but the chief can
and I set up,
do that.
when I first found out about it, I set up a thing to give Caleb, but actually it's in your name, access to set up a guest account, if you will. A sub account, if you will.
But for some reason it doesn't work.
I don't know why that doesn't work. I gave Caleb the number to call. I don't know if he called it.
I know that they have,
How much work are we looking at applying for this grant? I mean, how much computer time is involved?
as far as, once they're able to get into where they need to be, for our side, our stuff is done. We gave them the information that they need.
And that's accepted by them, even though you can't apply for the grant? Because you're not-
It's not accepted by, whoever you applying to, because we can't get to that point. But the company that is doing the grant for us, they have all the information. We already have we have back. We went through and looked at what they're going to submit. We just need to be able to submit the stuff, and that's
I have a
where
question.
we're at.
How long have each of your departments been working on this? Is this something in the last 3 days or?
No, it's been, whatever time that he has in since he's been contacted, and whatever time that I know Caleb's spent quite a bit of time
How
as
much-
far as it goes, but
In this particular issue, how long have you been working on it?
I spent several hours one night setting up an account. What appears to have happened though, it's not just our DUNS number. It's,
everything.
you have to set up a sub account over here, and another account over here, and link them all. And that's that FEMA Go. So I set up that account. Apparently they sent me an email that I didn't see right away, that you had to verify that account, which I found out recently. So I tried reaching out to them, FEMA, to say, hey, the token didn't work, I need a new token. That's what I'm waiting for now.
And how long has this been going on?
Well, it's been like a week, but I didn't know about that until, but I mean, I haven't reached out by your person for a week. So I don't know where she's been trying to reach me. There's no messages, nothing.
Okay, so let's 9:30 on Friday morning. We can't fix anything that happened before now.
Oh,
But how
not
do
at
we,
all.
from
I need
at this
FEMA.
point in time, is there some outside resource that,
Just FEMA's support desk, and I sent an email to them. I tried calling them last night, and they said, we're busy helping other customers, there'll be extended wait, send us an email. I haven't checked my email this morning, I will check it to see if they got back with a new token. If I get a new token, I log in, then I can try setting up another
well,
guest account.
what I'm familiar with, and this has nothing to do with the feds directly, but in terms of security on setting things up online, is you go to do something and they will send you a PIN or whatever it is that expires in 20 minutes.
That's what
or-
happened.
that.
That's what happened to me originally, and I didn't know it because I had got another email from something else from them,
Okay,
so I didn't
alright.
see it, and I found it the other day.
Right, but they're time sensitive, they expire.
Right, and so it says if it doesn't work, do this to get a new token. Well, that didn't work either.
I have a question.
Yeah.
This new individual for the town, do they have the talent, the ability to solve this problem for us? So our fire chief and our police chief can do fire and police business.
As far as what? As far as?
Your
So
grant.
it's for
Sol-
clerical-
Solving this issue with FEMA and writing the grant.
But we've got the grant written. Everything's there.
So
We just want to submit it,
Just submission.
right? It's a matter of the whole, and I'm not blaming the chief for anything with that. I know that it's extremely difficult to get into the FEMA stuff, but unfortunately, what we have on our side now, that we deal with FEMA and things like that, is totally different from what he has control of and the information of. We just have, if there's an emergency access, we haven't had to deal with the stuff that he had since like 2007.
Okay, we got a $120,000 radio program here. How much of this $120,000 is gonna get satisfied by a possible grant?
It's usually 75%.
So 90,000.
So we got $90,000. We need to solve a $90,000 problem. And you've got it between now and whenever we have our business.
I think it's the
I think it's February 21st.
21st, something like that, yeah.
No, we're gonna put the
No.
warrant article out.
Yeah,
Are you
right.
saying the grant expires on the 21st?
The
No,
application's
the
due by the
application
21st.
process, you have to have it in and,
Okay, so you got
accepted
until
by them.
February 21st, you got a month to get it done. And I would hope that between the two of you and, did your new staff person start?
Nope,
Is that person gonna start?
I don't think so,
Really?
really.
All right, so we'll have to have a non-public about that as well. So at any rate, let's see if we can't tie this thing up a little bit.
Mhm.
Bring down the temperature.
Is there an individual that can resolve this problem for both of you guys?
No, I think he's working on it.
Yeah.
I think that it's just a matter of,
Thank you, Jack.
once,
Well, the chief can't delegate his authority,
right,
so he's in it, whether he likes it or not. So, I mean, it's not like you could say, Chip, you go do it.
right.
Because I'm not the chief of police.
Well,
I don't
no,
have that.
because he has a certain, whatever rights that he has to the different information now.
In order to get the grant, that was the letter you had to sign so I could get the
Right.
process going for our grant.
Right.
Because that thing got messed up because there were two DUNS numbers and two accounts set up originally and they had to be cleaned up, and it got cleaned up. But when I started setting up, I had to go through, I spent quite a while the other night going through setting up this FEMA account, another account, trying to link them all. And then in the process of that, I apparently missed this email that had a deadline to reply to validate that account, which I didn't see for several days. And now trying to get, I gotta go through the support desk there to try and get it done.
The current system requires you to do something, correct?
I need to,
What do you need for resources so you can focus on this? Because there's only so many hours in the day for you to do your other job, right?
yeah,
And I'm sensitive to that, my friend.
I don't, I'm waiting for, I hope, I haven't checked my emails this morning. I need to check my emails to see if the support desk got back to me, FEMA support desk. Hopefully, they can just send me another token, I can just log back in to validate my account. Once I validate the account, all the other stuff will show up that will allow me to set up sub-accounts.
We need to get a new calendar for the wall, because I'm looking at, we're not meeting Monday, but we're gonna meet a week from Monday. Can we get a
Right.
report back a week from Monday?
Yeah.
Just see where we're
Yeah,
at.
sure.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing's changed, then,
Yeah, the worst thing about grants is that you're at the mercy of,
right, we're a
You know,
small town, we
whoever.
don't have, you know, he doesn't have
We-
a
we
deputy chief that he can
Right.
throw.
no,
in
but
the
you know what I mean?
And we don't have a grant writer on staff that's.
They're looking for all of whatever information and it's whatever deadline. However, when they make it impossible to get into, that's why a lot of towns, you know, everyone's like, oh, you can go out and get a grant for a police cruiser, you can get a
Right.
grant for whatever. It's not worth it in the long run.
Yeah.
You know, by the time that you get done with trying to come up with the money, how much money have you spent to get to that point? I understand $120,000 is a lot of money, but how much money do you really put in trying to secure them, you know, in the long run? That's what some outside people don't understand, is that it's a lot to secure it in the long run.
I will
But-
ask my question again. Are there any resources that the selectmen can make available?
No.
That will
No.
assist either one of you guys?
No. Not unless you can
Wave our
click your
finger?
fingers and get them to
It's a matter
answer
of
us back.
It's a matter of the support desk getting back to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I finally found where that is, that there's a way to contact them. But again, I'd given Caleb the number to call too, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't,
And I know
kind of feel
that-
a little defensive here that she was calling me. No, she didn't. I called her, left a message.
Mm-hmm.
And I got no contact from her at all. She had my email. I got one email, the first email I got was late yesterday. So I kind of feel like I'm putting on the carpet here.
That's why I asked the question the way I did.
So the reason we ask you to come in is so we get everybody around the table and we understand the full scope of what we're dealing with and see if there's something we can do to help get there. It's, I mean, we're on a timeline, right? We're up against a rock at this point, and it's just a matter of figuring out how to deal with that rock so we can move it forward. And because there's an end time for submission of the grant, we want to make sure that we don't run out of time before that, before we figure out how to get the rock out of the way.
Right. And unfortunately, this is something that, as far as the grant wise today, the information that I submitted for them, one way or another, we need to know which way to go.
And did you want Chief here for his vehicle too?
I have court I have to get ready for, so. Court and grand jury, so I gotta check on that, but.
Anything else on this topic? Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that we're.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
And I'll
Thanks.
check my emails, see, the easy solution for them is to send me another token. Or at
And
least,
just make sure
Well,
you do it when you have the
right,
time to
and
wait.
that typically is what happens is, they'll send you a code or whatever, it expires, you just have to reapply and get a new one.
but what my problem was, last night it said, well, reapply, so I go to reapply and it says, can't do that because you have to create a new account. I go to create a new account, and then it says, sorry, this account already exists. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm in an endless loop.
Right, and so sometimes you end up having to get on the phone with somebody.
And then I
because-
tried the phone and
Yeah,
it was,
No, I understand.
And
Is-
are they there at whatever
All right.
time?
well, yeah, so I'll be bugging them when I get back from court today. That's what I'm gonna be working on.
Do you want to pause and do a quick non-public?
It's up to you.
Well, you're the chairman, I mean, it's,
You know what's up?
if you got a couple minutes to.
If you make
update
a
us.
motion, I'll entertain it.
You don't look like you have time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Just a minute.
Thanks, Chief.
Court is very important,
It is,
and I don't want to take you away from that. It's your call.
Well, if it only take a couple minutes, I can do that, but I mean,
Are you sure? Okay, I'm thinking
Yeah.
of you and your job,
all right.
okay?
So-
Do you have a motion, sir?
I'll move that we go into non-public for 91A, What is-
For personnel?
Yeah, for
Yeah.
personnel.
I think it's B.
I'll second,
Wood, yes?
Marcus, yes?
I'll be yes.
All right.
Anything need to be turned off here?
Yeah,
Yes.
one second.
Camera's good.
Yeah. Yeah,
So you're gonna be there with him?
Yeah.
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 Yep, thank you.
When they have to ski, but hit around, or he's not running today.
No.
Okay, next item of business for us?
We're down to the paving.
Action item. Can I interrupt for a minute?
Sure.
There's something under your action items, which is what warrant articles are under too, that Jack needs to speak with you. Green folder, Belknap, Camp Belknap. Because I
Jack,
know he has inspection, so I'm just trying to,
you need to talk to us.
Is this thing back on? Did you turn your?
it's on.
Okay.
Attached paperwork sent from Camp Belknap.
Yeah, I gave it to you
About
right
their
here.
window
Is
replacement.
this here?
That's what you
Yes.
guys had me print out.
It's to do with obviously COVID and distancing and all that stuff. They want to put up temporary tents and extension of dining hall and all kinds of stuff, so they can open this summer.
So is the extension to the dining hall permanent?
No, it's a tent.
A tent?
They did a tent 2 years ago because 500 inspection based on their insurance numbers and all that. We're overcrowded dining halls, so I mean, since then, they've actually put addition to the dining hall,
Right.
but it doesn't cover the distancing part of it, so.
And do they have room to do this?
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be tents here and there, it's,
Well,
so,
this is a 50-foot tent, so it's
yeah.
kinda big.
And then in certain areas, like a lot of their, what do you call it, cabins,
Right.
hold 12 people, they wanted to have 10. So they're gonna put some in certain areas and take the overflow and put them in these tents, so.
And then we got RVs for, whatever, future staff housing.
Does this come under you as
Well, yes, the
building
planning board
inspector,
first.
planning board, or?
Yes, the planning
health
board, but
officer?
it's, they're not permanent structures, it's just a temporary thing because of the situation they're in, so. It's probably a little both. I mean, they have enough facilities, you know, bathroom facilities and all that to cover the amount of people. They're not adding people, they're just trying to get the people further apart from each other. And then they wanna put another one down by the water, I believe,
Right.
so they can
Got a
have,
boathouse.
yeah, they can have, you know, do activities in it and all that, without having to go inside the building, so. And it's more, most of these are more or less just awnings, there's no walls to them, the ones that they use during the day, so. If you have any further, I mean, I'm just bringing it to your attention now, I mean, if you have anything else, you can bring it up to Mondays, you know, and Seth will come in.
He did call me today and leave a message that he wants to know which direction to go in with you guys to get an answer.
Is there a date on this letter?
Yeah. Oh, no,
I didn't print the email. okay.
Yeah, it came by email, so that's an attachment.
Yesterday, I think it was.
It came in yesterday.
Is it appropriate for the selectmen to ask what the planning board thinks?
The planning board sent it to me. They were sent it, so Matt sent it to me.
right,
Okay.
it doesn't really,
That's why it was written as an MOU, so.
because it's all temporary housing.
Correct.
Mhm.
Is there another town that's doing anything
I
like
have
this?
no idea.
No, I think it's fine, I don't know if we wanna, I guess we need to follow it with, if we're gonna make a memorandum of understanding into some sort of codified thing, we need to sign off on it, and they need to sign off on it.
Correct.
And-
Right.
So you wanna have them come in on that?
Yeah, but we need to limit our exposure as well. I'm not gonna put the board
Right, I think
exposure
needs
for
to go to,
creating a perfect COVID-19
Right.
environment.
right,
Correct. Oh, yeah.
and the document needs review
Right.
before we sign it.
Right.
Uh,
But do you have any other questions besides?
No, as long as, I guess, from my perspective, if you've reviewed the placement of these things,
No,
and they're,
told me, I look at the map as much as I look at the map that's there, yeah.
you know, we need to have the fire chief look at it to
Oh,
make sure
yeah,
fire
that would
master
happen
can
as
work
well.
on it.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess if I were gonna get back to Seth, I'd be getting back with a memo that says, we're gonna review it with our attorney, and we're gonna have our fire rescue review it. We're more than happy to keep you in business, but we need to
Right.
do it sensibly.
Yeah, yeah.
Right, so I'm thinking that having him meet with us in 2 weeks is a starting point for the discussion. I mean, rather than have the memorandum reviewed
Right,
now,
yeah.
we'll have a meeting, we'll sit down, we'll talk
Yeah.
about all the issues and then establish a way going forward. They obviously want to get it in place, but they don't need it signed today,
No,
right?
they just need to know we're working on it.
That's
Right,
right.
yeah. I'm
So-
sure it's based on
As
schedule.
long as we can get it through our process in
Yeah.
time for them to get all their,
Yeah, I'm sure it's based on their
Logistics.
reservation process too.
And he needs to put a map together showing the placement of these things, so that we can share that with Adam.
Well, there's
Is there one?
sort of one there, yeah. But I
yeah,
think we should go down there, Adam and I, and walk it and have
Yep.
them show us where it is.
yeah,
Yeah, because we don't want a big tent somewhere where they can't get to. And all of a
Correct.
sudden you got
Yep.
right.
a dead camper on your hands.
So,
So either,
and they ought to be able to, you know, put grade stakes at the corners of where these things are gonna be and that sort of thing, so it'll help us visualize what's gonna be, and,
Yeah. Sounds
Okay,
good.
so are you gonna
I'll
walk
call,
the four?
I'll call Seth and tell him you want him, was it 25th?
Mm-hmm. I can, why don't
You
we,
can send him an email back with the time.
I will.
And who's on that day?
Who's on?
Is it police?
Let me see, it's the last one, no, it's not police and fire.
I'll
It
just see
is,
if Adam can go as well, just.
yeah. I'll get you a time as soon as I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can make clear to them that the RVs are not a permanent adjunct to the summer
Right.
camp.
Yes.
mhm.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, it's getting through. I know he has inspections. Alright.
Do we want to get back to warrant articles or do something else?
No, we gotta get those done.
Okay. Next warrant article you guys want to talk about?
Well, obviously the carbon cylinders are out.
Yeah.
Paving,
Did we do the fire truck lease payment?
I think we did, didn't we?
Oh, you didn't vote on the truck payment, you did not.
Did we
Okay.
make a motion?
So I'll move that Article C for the lease payment on the fire apparatus, a total amount of $124,625.
Principal and interest.
Yep.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion granted. Passed.
Okay. Paving,
So I put 370 in there because that's what we were talking about the other day,
okay.
which,
And we're good with that? I can dig out my
which
notes.
includes the quote plus some money for road prep. And we've already encumbered some money for
Well,
road
we
prep.
were at 350 and we added 25 or 20 or 30 or whatever. Okay.
Is there a motion?
Okay, go ahead, Bill.
Yeah, I'll move Article D,
Yep.
road paving, in the amount of $370,000.
Is there a second?
I'll second, I'm sorry.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Okay, next.
Okay, from here on, I think we need this, personally, I think we need to go to the police facility.
I agree.
Yes.
Because if we do the police facility, that's putting at risk the guardrails, the police cruiser. Obviously, the capital reserve account would go away. So those four would leave.
Yes.
Right.
from
I
that
agree with your logic.
Yeah.
Just to presuppose where we are now. I did the number, where did I put it? Okay, without the police station, we're at $1,068,668, I think. That would eliminate the $300,000 capital reserve account, the police cruiser, and we've already eliminated the carbon cylinders.
Mhm.
So we're not too far away from where we were last year at 997. We're only 80,000 away.
Yeah.
And that would put, what did I do, 200 minus 106 is that, minus 80, 48 is that, minus 219, which is the amount in the capital reserve. Okay, so that would still leave, yeah, it still left the police cruiser on. So that's everything but the police station. So the police station is actually, one clarification, we've got 662 in capital reserve, and then it says 400,000 new commitment, what's that mean?
I don't know, he put that in.
That was, I know we have like $250,000 in grant money, right? From
Okay.
the FEMA grant. And so, I was looking at roughly 700,000, thinking, and we talked about maybe putting an article in for capital reserve.
Right.
And or, so if you take 400 and 300, that's 700. That's my back of the napkin.
Plus
Well-
662,000?
So, again, I'm talking about new money, okay? I was just making the assumption there that we would need 700,000 in new money, roughly. If you take the 1.6 and then you subtract 662, and I think that FEMA grant's 250, so round numbers, you're,
We're looking at 700,000,
give or take.
right?
Yep. And,
And that was gonna come from taxation?
well, it's a new commitment. So I think that we had talked about raising that full amount out of fund balance. If that's possible, and we have to look at that, but,
Well, I don't know that we need to.
yeah.
We,
There's something that concerns me, gentlemen, when we take a step back. I have a memo here dated Tuesday, January 12th, reference update. Kathy, no longer waiting on Cobb Hill, I've passed all the information on, et cetera, et cetera. And it's signed by Phil Bennett, am I correct? Phil Bennett didn't show up at our meeting.
He didn't know about the.
He didn't know about it.
Okay.
And I sent him all the paperwork from the meeting, and, so he's gonna process that, and next time there's a meeting, I will tell him whether Cobb Hill does or not. And then, you had asked for an update on the USDA,
Yeah,
and that's what that's answering, whether, everything has been submitted to them. And he's basically telling you, everything has been submitted for the grant that they requested. He just has not heard back from them yet.
Okay. I was putting 2 and 2 together and coming up with 3. Yes. So, and that's why I asked to clear the air.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Thank you for allowing me to ask.
Okay. If we look at our rate of travel here, and you can definitely check my math. If we do $120,000 for the radios,
Which is 30, right? I mean, we're talking about new money, right?
I'm just gonna do it without.
Okay.
Grant,
Yeah,
'cause
all
I
right.
can't, I'm not guaranteed in my head
No.
if that's gonna happen.
No? that's right.
124,625 for the fire truck,
Right.
28,530 is the net difference for the cylinder, the
SCBA's,
SCBA.
yeah.
370 for paving and 5,000 for contingency. We're at 648,155.
648.
155.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so we've got 662,000 in capital reserve. We've got 225,000 in grant money, right? Is 8, 5, 7, 8, $887,000.
Is it 225 or 250?
Oh, is it 250?
I don't know. I don't recall. Do you, Lloyd?
250 for what?
For the USDA grant for the police
I
facility?
believe it's $250,000.
Okay.
Off the
Okay,
top of
so
my
I
head.
gotta add 25 grand to that. $912,000, right? So we got $912,000 against $1,000,006.
Yep,
So that's $700,000. We're back to the number you had.
yep.
If we are at 648,000 and
You had 700 to it, we're at
you know, let's,
$1,350,000.
right, let's work it a little bit though. If we took $400,000 out of capital, out of undesignated fund balance, and I'm just throwing that number out.
Yes.
I'm not married to it.
Right, then it gets us back down to
Now we're at
under $1 million.
We're at $1,300,000 on the police department. Now we gotta raise $300,000 in tax money for the police department, which puts us at $948,000. That was my journey to Oz. How are you guys doing?
No, I understand, yep.
I have a fear about the police station. Every builder I've talked to, 3 towns that are considering building police stations, even local towns, said the costs for building are as high for materials as they've ever been.
Yeah, but one thing you've gotta remember is that when I did my adjustments, the only adjustments I made were on site work and I forget, the other one was very small, but 200,000 of that adjustment was in site work. I mean, that site work number was so completely out of scale.
That's where I was headed.
That's not the building though.
Yeah.
The building cost, I didn't make.
Material costs.
Material costs, I didn't make any adjustments to that. I mean, if you wanna
The other one.
go with $1,700,000,
Well,
I think we're just gonna find ourselves
we will-
putting money back in.
we will know before we finalize the warrant, we'll have a number
Right.
from Cobb Hill.
Yes, we will.
Okay, so if we have to change this number then we'll do it. And, you know, if things change between when the warrant is signed and when town meeting happens for some other reason, then we bring it up on the floor of town meeting.
Yes.
I feel comfortable with where we're going because we're gonna end up with a guaranteed cost from Cobb Hill to do the construction.
Guaranteed maximum.
Right, right.
Right. I think we still need to talk to them a little bit about their participation in their savings, or some way to make sure that savings happens.
Yep.
Because a lot of their money is premised upon a percentage. And a lot of it's their management costs, but
Yes.
there's a big percentage of cost too. So anyway, just travel along that road one step further. If we found out that their actual cost is gonna come in at $1.8 million, we can still pop 300 grand on here for a capital reserve, which leaves us at 948. And if we then add the cruiser, we're only about 40 grand higher than we were last year, so it's not a big jump.
I'd like to speak on the cruiser, but I'll wait until you're done. I have a solution.
Done anytime. Are you gonna try to defend the cruiser?
I have an alternative.
All right, horses?
No. I have spoken to Mike Nealon at Lake City Auto. I've seen the work that he's done. I've seen 6 emergency vehicles over there in the last year. They do restoration, but they also redo rust and updating on emergency vehicles. What I say is, instead of buying a new cruiser for $70K, we spend, and I'm gonna toss out $20,000, and we take our 4 cruisers in and have them redone, so we get another 1 or 2 or 3 years out of them. The nice,
We don't have to take 4 of them then.
no, in other words, if there's rust starting around a rocker panel or something, they do it and with their special paint. He also will do it at a reduced rate.
I can appreciate where you're going with that. It's probably not a bad idea. I just don't know how in the world you're gonna manage it. Because you're not gonna do it. You're gonna require the chief of police to do it. And it's taken a year to get a cruiser on the road. I mean, I love him like a brother, but it shouldn't take a year. And if you put into his hands, let's say $20,000 for restoration and recovery, it's not as simple as that. He's gotta take the car off the road, he's gotta get it over to the shop, he's gotta tell them what to do. There's a whole management portion of that I think is gonna be difficult. I'm not saying it's a bad idea, I'm just saying we kinda have to look at what we have as far as time.
Well, I'll make a comment, we don't have much. Okay?
Well, and I can sympathize with that. Unless there's some other way we could do it. And I'm open to any suggestions.
Okay, next subject.
Yeah. So now, in support of deferring purchase of another cruiser, I will say that pickup truck, I know because the chief has mentioned it, has had less use than a typical
Right.
police vehicle. Mileage is lower, the number of hours it's run has reduced. Yeah, it has some rust issues, it's a Dodge, I mean, what do you expect? But in terms of wear and tear, letting it run for another year, I think is not a bad strategy.
Well, we've got, how many cruisers do we have now? 4?
So we have 5.
5.
Right, we have 4 plus the backup.
And we've got a brand new one, so that's out of the picture.
Right.
Because that's brand new. So now we have 3 plus a pickup truck.
Mhm.
One of those can't be any more than 3 years old.
Right, so we've got, yeah, they're like the new one, and the other one's like, let's say 3 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm thinking the 5-year-old cruiser probably could use some help. But I go back to my conversation with the chairman.
You
How
just,
do you manage that?
you just ignited a fire in me, and I might as well
I'm
say
sorry.
it in the record.
Okay.
And I've been sitting on this for a year. Okay? There is no one who knows cars more than you do. It was your career, sir.
Oh, pardon.
And you know as well as I do, $2,000 worth of rust into a pickup truck, which is 4-wheel drive, which is is something we use and whatnot. You also are aware of that in the last 4 years, Mr. Cook left, 6 months that cruiser wasn't used. We had a girl in school for 3/4 of a year, that cruiser wasn't used. The new cruiser that was in the warrant article has taken over 6 months, and it's still not complete,
Right.
okay? The last thing is, and I have now crossed the line, and I'm saying it publicly, there was no one who was any kinder and any more pleasant. Could you please move the spare cruiser out of the ice bank? And it hasn't been fucking done in 5 days.
Yeah.
And that's the last I'm gonna speak on it.
I can appreciate your ardor.
Yeah.
I hope you didn't misunderstand my position.
No.
That
You two guys,
I'm more than willing to spend 20 grand on.
you
repairs.
two gentlemen have been as kind and as appropriate as you can be with the police department. I enjoy working with you. You are kinder than I am. So, but it has come to the point, and I've struggled with this now for 6 months, and I now have said it. It's on the record. I just wish the guy was here so I could say it to his face.
I think I'd rather, and I appreciate that, but I think I'd rather say to my brother Bill, if they can manage to put together a repair on that 4-year-old or 5-year-old vehicle and get it done, we'll find the money to do it.
Right.
I don't wanna make a warrant article
I'm right.
up and.
If it's $20,000, we'll find 20 grand.
Yeah.
Someplace in the.
And I don't think it'll be 20 grand, but.
No, right.
This
I would
guy,
rather approach it that way.
this gentleman here will donate 50% of the normal $65,000 cost.
Which gentleman?
Mike Keaton. And all we do is write a letter, thank you for X amount donating to the town. And I asked him to put that in writing, and he will. And getting a police cruiser over there, minus the guns and the radio, is not an issue. It can be done.
No, I know it can.
So-
I,
Excuse me, I'm going back on my word of ending my debate, and I apologize. Thank you for listening to a passionate guy.
All right.
all
So
right, so are we
can we move forward with the warrant at this point?
Right.
Yes.
And at least get something
Yes.
finalized today to move forward as an initial point. I will move Article E for the construction of a new police facility in a total cost of $1,600,000, which to which the contribution includes what's in the capital reserve, which is currently $662,000, USDA grant of in the neighborhood of $250,000, and other funding from new spending and out of fund balance.
Yeah, just to clarify the new spending and fund balance, I'm gonna amend I'll second the motion.
Yep.
And then I'll-
How much on the fund balance?
I think we need to take $400,000 out of the fund balance for this article, which would leave us with approximately $300,000 worth
New
of tax.
taxation. Yep. No, I accept that amendment.
All right, hang on. What's the amendment?
It's just, so the 400,000 that's on that line that says new commitment,
Yeah,
call that $400,000 from fund balance.
okay.
Okay. So what we're driving at is to end up with around $300,000 in new taxation
Yeah,
to,
all the way over on the right-hand line.
yeah.
Now, that amendment's been seconded?
I'll second the amendment.
I seconded it,
Yeah, okay.
but then I amended it.
Yeah, well, and I second the amendment, so I think we're, all right.
Under discussion, when you talk about $300,000 to be raised by taxes, we're really mirroring what we did with the library, so we don't have a lot of debt, correct?
Right, well, my goal, aside from not having debt was to try to keep the warrant at about the same as last year. And this would put the warrant at somewhere under $1 million, which is where we were last year.
Right. I think that's excellent, and I support that. Are we ready to vote on the amendment? All those in favor of the amendment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 3-0. With the amended motion, all those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Nice job, guys. Motion passes 3-0.
So that will eliminate the $300,000
In the capital reserve
capital
Yep.
reserve.
addition, right.
And we're removing police cruiser, guardrails, correct?
We haven't talked about the guardrails
But
yet.
you did remove cruiser, right?
Right.
Yes.
And, okay.
And what, okay, well, the process is gonna be that you're gonna present us with,
Written article, and this updated, or just this updated?
we wanted to get these to the,
You want the budget committee to have at least the first look at what we're doing for
right,
projects.
So if I add
Do
the
you
columns
want
and
them
just,
in a form that they would be as articles?
no, they don't need to be, I think they
No.
just needed, this would be fine.
do this,
Yeah.
update
Maybe a
this
little
for you
bigger
today?
font.
Is
Okay.
police station construction D?
Yes,
E.
E,
E. D is paving.
yes.
Okay.
Well, what would we end up with? Let's say we're at 648, 155, so now we're plus 3,
That's 948.
948, and
Well, let me put the 2 extra columns and get this done for you for Tuesday. Jane's coming in at 1 or 2 o'clock this afternoon to see what I have so she can forward it to them for
right,
Tuesday. Because
Contingency
Monday we're
is
all off.
right,
Is what?
F, contingency.
right, I'll move, Article F, that's $5,000 contingency.
I'll second.
And it's out of the fund balance by law.
Yeah.
It is out of the fund balance?
By law, yes. Because it goes back in
Oh,
if we
right,
don't
you
use
don't
it.
use it.
Right.
So that doesn't change anything.
Okay, did you second that, sir?
I did.
It's been seconded.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Or
Motion
I
passes.
made it, he seconded it,
3-0.
whatever. Yeah.
Okay, as far as the,
So that would go, so I would put 5,000 under funds available, or it won't be part of taxation.
right,
Right,
it's not gonna
okay.
carry out to the third
Right,
column.
right. So I'll put the 2 columns in, I'll redo this. If you wanna, I'll email it to you, Chip, ahead of time, or you can just get it from Jane when she does a package.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this
fine. I
gonna
can
be
do it.
good enough for you guys?
Yeah, that's, I'm happy with that.
Yeah,
And I'll just let them know that we may, you need to check on what's actually in the fund balance on the police station.
Okay.
And you need to double check on that grant amount.
Wasn't there an EOC grant too?
so maybe 125 grand in
But it's
EOC.
but it's matching.
Yeah,
Well, we're more than matching, that's for sure.
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, if we're gonna put, we've already
So-
matched 600.
You wanna know fund balance, or
So-
total fund balance
No,
right now?
yeah, 2 things.
Okay,
The total fund balance
yeah, and the
and
grant.
the balance in the police station capital reserve.
So as of October 31st, it was 662,247. So, but we'll have the end of year number when the trustees of trust fund turn all their reports in.
And the interest will go right up until town meeting. And if we have town meeting for May 15th, it will be even above that
Right.
Yeah.
incrementally.
I know she gave you, no, that's expenditures. Never mind.
Yeah, because maybe we don't do $52,000, maybe we do $40,000 worth of guardrails.
Guardrail, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. Well, I think that,
Well, you can do half, because remember he said he.
well,
could
that is
split it.
half.
Oh,
that is,
100,000 was the quote. We
Oh.
said we'll do half. We'll do 50 and Jim said 2 grand for traffic control. So that's an idea. Now, I will probably be bringing an article for the Milfoil Expendable Trust Fund It looks like we're gonna be getting money back out of the IMA. and-
We didn't spend any of that last year, did we?
We did, but not yet. In other words, we haven't submitted for it. We haven't submitted to the trustees of the trust fund. So about $5,000 is gonna be coming out. Looks like there's gonna be a distribution from the Milfoil Joint Board this coming year of maybe 17 grand. And I'm gonna suggest we put it in there and just keep working off that going forward.
So you're not talking about a
That's
tax
no new
impact?
tax, this is money coming back.
Money coming in.
Right.
Okay.
It's a,
We don't already have that authority? Do we need a warrant article to accept it?
I don't think we need a warrant article to accept it, but we need a warrant article to put it into the expendable trust fund.
Oh, I see, okay.
I'm just suggesting, since it's coming back out of the milfoil world, we put it in there and just keep working off that going forward.
Right, because the other, we need to do income as well. We haven't voted on income. have
Revenue,
we?
yeah.
For revenue. We need to add, do we actually think there's?
Speaking of income, taxes are due today.
I'm sorry?
Taxes are due today.
I already paid my taxes.
Oh, you don't pay quarterly?
Oh, no, I can't. Well, yeah, I do, kind of, but.
Today's tax day.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I've already paid.
Good for you.
No, no, I can't do it that way.
No?
So, no. They try to penalize me and I battle around with them a little bit, but it just, no.
If we're talking about warrant articles, are there some that we're not considering this year?
Yeah, a lot of them.
So,
Did 19 Mile Brook Conservation Commission,
No,
did they?
Lake Road,
Yeah, what are you doing with
Lake
that?
Road, that's the other one.
That's
Yep.
on the first one, how you
yep,
doing?
Lake Road, so, and what I stuck in there was design and permitting. I don't think, we can't get into $200,000 in putting a wall up there this year, I don't think. Design and permitting, I'd have to go back to Tyler's email.
Now, what was
We
his,
already had design and permitting for Union Wharf. We've already got the money for that. And it was previously approved, right? So design,
2,500, I think it was.
design and permitting at,
and was that under docks and bridges?
No, you
no,
made
we were
that.
gonna do it as a warrant article.
So we can amend
Yep,
the warrant. If we're gonna meet
Well-
in May, we can amend the warrant.
yeah, right.
So I would think that if we were to get, say, $200,000 grant from the police department, maybe we do add an article for that.
Right, but we have to be careful on the warrant. Don't think we can add new items to the warrant.
No.
So we can, before we finalize the warrant, we
Okay, then let's put,
we put items in and then we can adjust them later.
so if we put in for Lake Road, $25,000 for design permitting
Sure.
and construction. And we obviously don't have money enough for construction. But if money did come in, now we can just push that warrant article
Right.
north.
And what about the heat for highway garage?
No.
So, I guess what I'd say on the heat of the highway garage, it's something we need to do, but it's not of the same level of urgency as if the existing heating system doesn't work. What's there is working, it's not totally adequate, and we're spending extra on fuel over what we would with a new system. But, you know, that's call it 25,000 by the time you get insulation and everything in. It's just something else to,
Right.
all right, when do we have to do the warrant? What's our deadline on the warrant? I'm sorry, Kathy, I get you in a pile of paper and I ask you a question that
Sorry, I have the schedule here.
Yeah,
Yeah, I gotta get through the budget committee. So I mean, Dave Block at the fire station, and we were constructing this,
The police station?
or the police station, I'm sorry.
yeah.
We'll just move in a different direction.
Well,
Sure. Well, they have input, yes?
well, when you say they block, they don't have authority over the warrant articles. They
Well,
they can
I mean,
weigh
They
in.
don't recommend, I think we're.
Right, yeah.
Now we're pushing up.
Yeah, no, right,
The budget is their budget, the warrant articles are ours, yes.
that's right.
But they do have a vote.
Well, right. So then, yeah, we might,
Can I please go back to Lake Road design and permitting? Is there a number there and a letter to assign that?
Are you gonna motion on that?
I'll move Article G, Lake Road Design and Permitting at a figure of $25,000. And recognizing that that's a placeholder, probably.
Yes. I'll second that. Any further discussion?
So that puts our total at 973.
Okay,
Okay, you said? Did I second?
I second.
Okay.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Is there any other warrant articles we're going to consider this year?
I'm gonna bring something up, I don't know. What
Yep.
about your Shirley Way?
That was a petitioned article.
Right.
Well, we didn't get a petition with 25 signatures, with,
Shirley Way, I believe, had over 25 citizens sign it, correct?
was it a petition article? I thought they just brought a petition for you guys to do something.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten an article.
I don't think there's an article at this
No.
point,
Okay,
right? So.
We
and
haven't seen
I'm
it.
sensitive to it, but
yep.
Okay,
I know we
just-
put some money into it this year. I don't know, I mean, what specifically is,
I think our road agent could manage his time and assets a little better and actually put some effort in down here.
yeah,
So I can take that off the list, is what I'm asking.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
All right, and then, I don't know anything about the cemetery tree work, that's coming off too, right?
That was one that didn't go anywhere last year.
Okay.
We were looking to set up an expendable fund.
I don't know that,
She is one.
Susie hasn't come in with a warrant article.
No one
No.
has come to me,
She
other
has
than
a
I
schedule.
just got delivered a warrant article.
And that's,
49 voters have signed it that are eligible voters. It's not a money one.
Yep.
It's from,
All right, so that doesn't have to go to budget. I mean, it will end up on the warrant.
right, but it's not a financial one.
yeah, this is just the redistricting
Yep.
one.
Oh, okay.
And 19 Mile Brook study?
So we put money in last year. I don't know that we spent any this year, did we? Is that- We put
Didn't
20
we just
grand.
encumber that though? Didn't we encumber some for,
I believe so. I haven't-
I think, no, it's an expendable fund. You don't have to encumber it.
right, okay.
Uh, Establish 19 Mile Brook Expendable Trust Fund for the purpose of monitoring water quality, 20 grand. So that money was
Okay.
appropriated last year and is there until it's used.
Okay.
Are we missing anything, Chip?
Did you have something from milfoil, or is that a mute?
Yeah,
Well,
it's a non-monetary item though, isn't it?
well, it's a no tax item. Yes, I do have I don't have it.
So what I would do is put down H with a question mark, milfoil.
And did Kathy ever answer your question? I'm sorry.
About when
When?
we have to have them in, no, I have to go get the
All right.
information.
All right, so I will move Article H in addition to the milfoil expendable trust fund in the amount of, and I think it will be $17,000, such money will be coming from a distribution from the Milfoil Joint Board, and no money from taxes.
As it moves across your chart, Kathy, it goes 17, 17, 0.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
And does that change your total that you
No.
have? So your total for the warrant articles is?
973, 155, is that right?
973, 155 is what I've got.
Which is comparable to last year's, less than inflation. Excellent job.
Yeah, I don't know that we're done, but I think if we,
This will give them something to chew on.
right, and if we need to make some modification, if we need to do something else that we've
Yes.
forgotten because
Yep.
we're old,
Yep.
there's opportunity to do it without really impacting. I mean, we only impacted the operating budget by 70 grand, so it's
Excellent.
not like things are
Right.
going crazy.
Right.
While we're here, is there anything in this basket we want to take care of under correspondence?
Well, you-
Action
I would
items?
look to Kathy for that.
Kathy?
Yeah, there's a number of things, well, hang on, let me get to my, do you want to hold the minutes off till next meeting? That's fine with me.
What about action items?
That's what I was talking about. You do have to vote on the Ag Commission if you want to save it till next week. Bill, what you submitted to me
Yeah.
about the Ag
Yeah.
changing?
So this is just revised fees for the community garden for 2021. And I think we put it in the folder for meeting
Okay.
next week. Yeah.
Great, yeah, that's fine.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
2 weeks, yeah.
right.
So there's that, and then I think I also gave you warrant articles, and we talked to Jack. I don't know, Bill, you also asked me to do the skip hurt. Is that for next
Yep.
week?
Oh,
Okay.
that's another thing is, we talked about a betterment for Willand Road, and I forgot to put that on that list, so that's something I think we
Right.
need, and he had sent through, I think he sent it to you too, did he, pictures of,
The pictures didn't come through for me.
well, no, and that's because the file was so big that I could receive it, but
Right.
my thing wouldn't let me send it out, so I
Okay.
can print copies of the pictures out, but and I think there's a copy of his
There is. I did
email in here,
email, yeah.
okay? And he was talking about the entrance to Willand Road, and wanted to make sure that we understood from what he can see that changes in that entrance ought to involve not changing the grade or alignment of the road, but pushing back the hills on either side of the opening of the road so that there's more visibility. And he was concerned that in looking at improving that intersection, that Jim's idea was he's gonna lower the road, which would make the visibility worse because of the hills on either side, rather than lowering the hills and leaving the road where it is. Did you get a copy of that?
Yes.
Yeah. And I will, I think I can access those pictures and print them here. And anyway, I think it's a good thing for us to look at our next meeting.
So the 25th, I'll put that back on our
Yep.
agenda. So you got the information from Jen that TCS has confirmed with her March 9th voting, and they can set up the 8th at 3:45.
Yep.
And then, I think
February 5th is the last date for giving notice for the February 12th public hearing on the budget. So
Yeah, and our budget hearing is on the 9th, right?
I think so.
Now, what is the last date for a bond hearing?
That's January.
Yeah,
Um, I just saw it.
So, we can talk about it the 25th. So I have to have,
January 8th, you missed it. Oh, that's first day, I'm sorry. So that's gonna be February 22nd is the last day to hold a public hearing.
so we might want to, as I mentioned before, we may want to consider, depending upon how conversations go forward from here, holding a bond hearing, whether we actually really want to borrow money or not. Because I know the question's been raised by some members of the budget committee about, well, maybe we ought to just borrow.
Well, I think that would become clear next Tuesday.
Right, right, I'm just
And when
saying,
we show them this sheet and say, this is our plan, they're gonna say, well, yeah, why don't we just borrow 500,000 or whatever it is. So I think my response is gonna be, we don't wanna create debt, but we'll certainly explore that, and and Bill Markson wants to have a bond hearing, so we'll have a bond hearing.
I don't want to have a bond hearing, I'm just suggesting that as a
But
possibility.
it'll certainly open up the, I mean, Jack Whitmer might come back like he did a few years ago and say you're overspending,
Yeah,
which I don't believe we are. But, yeah, it gives us more options going forward,
right,
so I'm okay with that.
yeah,
So maybe my explanation will be we're exploring a bond,
yeah, right,
or a bank loan, actually, I can't.
yeah.
can't imagine.
Like we
No,
did on
it's
we
too
did on the
s-
fire station.
It's too small a project to actually bond.
Yeah. I just, well, I don't know.
I think I forwarded you the municipal bank had sent me all the.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
I
you did.
Sure.
forwarded it to you.
That's right, they're,
Um,
they make their money by selling bonds, so
Yeah.
of course they're gonna be
Yes.
pushing that.
Well, they have bond counsel.
Yeah,
So the 25th, we have to do a final decision on public hearing because the 29th is when I have to put it in the paper
yeah,
to make sure it's advertised in time for the February 12th meeting,
yeah,
just so you know.
Right. So we've got, and we need a new wall calendar, just so you know,
we do.
Yeah,
so that I can look up there and say, okay,
okay. It's
our next meeting is on
25th.
the 25th. So we need to make that, so we need to have our warrant completely together by the 25th?
No,
No.
What do you need to post on the 29th?
Public hearing notice.
Okay,
so if we're gonna have a bond hearing,
yeah, okay, got it.
Yeah.
All right.
Public hearing on annual budget.
No, that's not till the 12th or something of February.
yeah, but the
Right,
notice has to
but
be
to
out.
be able
Oh,
to get
yeah,
it in the
but that's,
paper.
yeah, that's
That's
With the
important.
right
Gordon
date,
needs to
with the snow day.
rammer on that. He needs to get you that information.
Oh, okay, so I need to
So,
work with
because
Jen
he's,
on
yeah,
that.
he's been notified that he needs to have that in the paper.
I understand that, but I'm kind of helping Jane
Right.
this year, so I'm trying to
Right,
make sure I'm covered on when that has to be done. So, that has to be in the 29th so that they can do it the 12th,
right. Good.
which is, that doesn't make sense, because the 12th is a Friday.
No, by the 12th.
Oh, by the
They
12th.
can have it.
Has to be
We're
Yeah.
having it on the 9th, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
so my
So that-
plan is to be out of town the first week in February. Leaving after our meeting on the 1st, and I'll be back on
So it'll be a short meeting.
Huh?
It'll be a short meeting.
No,
how's
I mean, my flight's the afternoon, so,
So
it's-
this is the 25th you're leaving?
no, 1st of February,
First of February?
Yeah.
Okay.
and back that following Sunday, so.
I think we'll be done. I don't know that,
No?
I mean, unless something untoward happens.
Yeah,
You've certainly nudged the process along, Joe.
Now, if that's the case, I'm just asking so I know, so the 9th is when they're having their meeting.
that's the budget hearing.
Right, so that has to be advertised 7 days before.
Mhm.
So that means they basically have to should get it in the 22nd of January, next
Right.
Friday.
I gotta get it to Granite State in order
Yeah.
to get it in the following Thursday's paper.
Yes.
Yep,
Yep,
okay, I think I already told Jane that though.
Yeah.
yep.
Alright.
Anything else to come before us?
I don't think so.
The Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I don't know if Joe, did you want to say something?
No,
I'm sorry.
motion to adjourn.
Yep. So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes 3-0.
Was there